Sit back and throw one back with your pinky in the air and a middle finger to the world, and join me, the eclectic gentleman Stephen Watts, as we look back on this day in pro wrestling history. But before we do, put that drink down, like, share, and subscribe, and without further ado, let's get our wrestling history on. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, it is May 11th, and we're going to start off as we always do on a positive note. That's right, these are your pro wrestling birthdays. 1951, New Japan Pro Wrestling's original Black Tiger, Mark Roca. 1974, the overachiever himself, Billy Kidman. 1983, Shimmer's Daisy Hayes. And last but not least, 1987, it's a Lucha House Party, Lince Dorado. Of course, on the flip side of that coin, your pro wrestling deaths for May 11th. 1995, World Classes, Stella Mae French. 2008, Judy Grable. 2019, Silver King. Alright, enough of the sad stuff. It's time to get to the meat and potatoes. That's right, these are your pro wrestling history highlights for May 11th. Jumping in the Wayback Machine and going to 1944, Frankie Talbot defeats the Great Mistifo for the Midwest Wrestling Association World Junior Heavyweight title in Columbus, Ohio. 1945, Jules Strongbow defeats Hans Schnabel to win the Texas Heavyweight title in Houston, Texas. Finishing up in the 40s, in 1949, Martino Angelo defeats Billy Fox in Columbus, Ohio for the MWA World Junior Heavyweight title, beginning his fifth reign. Moving into the 50s with 1953, the New York State Athletic Commission lifts a ban on tag team wrestling, which Vince McMahon still wishes was in place. 1954, Rocky Brown and Leo Nominelli defeat Ben and Mike Sharp to win the San Francisco NWA World Tag Team titles. Jumping ahead 13 years to 1967, the Blue Infernos defeat Billy and Jimmy Hines for the Mid-American NWA World Tag Team titles in Chattanooga, Tennessee. Grabbing our best polyester suits and going to the 70s, 1972 sees Don and Johnny Fargo, aka Greg Valentine, defeat Dominic DeNucci and Tony Parisi to win the National Wrestling Federation Tag Team titles in Cleveland, Ohio. Making two stops in 1976. First, the Executioners, Killer Kowalski and Big John Studd, under masks, defeat Louis Certain and Tony Parisi for the Worldwide Wrestling Federation Tag Team titles in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. Our second stop in 1976 sees Killer Carl Knox and Bob Sweaton defeat Ted DiBiase and Dick Murdoch for the Tri-State NWA United States Tag Team titles. 1978, Giant Baba and Jumbo Tsuruta win their third NWA International Tag Team titles in Osaka, Japan by defeating Kim Duke and Kintaro. Leaving the 70s and going to the 80s, 1980 sees the Iron Sheik defeat Jim Brunzell for the NWA Mid-Atlantic Heavyweight title in Charlotte, North Carolina. Next, in 1981, Ernie Ladd defeats Kerry Von Erich to win the world-class American Heavyweight title. 1987, Jeff Jarrett defeats Moondog Spot in Memphis, Tennessee to win the NWA Mid-American Heavyweight title. At the same show, Mark Starr and Billy Travis defeat Bad Company Paul Diamond and Pat Tanaka for the CWA-AWA International Tag Team titles. 1988, the WWF ran a Marathon Wrestling Challenge taping in Rochester, Minnesota with over 32 matches. That is a long-ass day for those producers. Grabbing our flannels and going to the decade of grunge. 1995, Steve Austin made his final WCW appearance at a WCW Saturday night taping in Atlanta, Georgia, in a losing effort against Randy Savage. 1996, ECW held a show called A Matter of Respect that revolved around Rob Van Dam and Sabu, in a bout where the loser would have to announce his respect for the winner. Sabu did, then crumpled into a stretcher due to the effects of Rob Van Dam's Fisherman Buster. And last but not least, 1997, the WWF held its 15th In Your House pay-per-view subtitled A Cold Day in Hell. In the main event, WWF Champion The Undertaker pinned Steve Austin after a tombstone piledriver. Those were your pro wrestling history highlights for May 11th. I'm the Eclectic Gentleman, Stephen Watts, and we'll see you tomorrow.